The way we think about early learning or early education, it's very different from the rest of the education sector itself, because let's say starting from the K-12 and even above vocational college education, everything is driven by what you call as a curriculum. There is a structured way of learning. However, the way early learning is different is early learning is effectively delivered in what we call as unstructured play. If you recall to our own early childhood, a lot of the things were very unstructured. You play the way you want. There were no rules. There were no nothing that defines an outcome. You win or lose. There was nothing that's going to judge you. Whereas the curriculum is slightly different, and it's very important that the educators, especially in the early learning segment, think about the whole early learning as a unstructured play, where a child gets an opportunity to explore things without being judged, without being put through a same curriculum. Because when you imagine a child going through a curriculum, right, you put 100 kids through a curriculum which defines the outcome, and then say, okay, this child is bright and this child is not bright, which is too early to judge. And we should allow the children to kind of grow and experience things at their own pace and their own I would say willingness to learn, because a child that's learning an art may not learn math at the same time. It's going to take a couple of years to develop that. And when we look at it, right, a lot of the things that we used to do as a childhood, the hopscotch games, a lot of the sensory games with sand and mud and things like that, those is what we call as a unstructured play, and normally that's how the learning happens in an early learning. When we thought about it, the early learning today, especially where we live, is still predominantly structured. Predominantly go through a curriculum to define what the outcome is going to look like. And when we look at early learning, right, kids spend about 80% of the time at home, and that's the location where they are also very comfortable exploring, without being judged. And they ask questions. They are very open-minded, and it's about bringing that unstructured play to their homes where they are very comfortable learning. And that's exactly how we see the future of early learning being delivered for a very effective learning for kids.